you. LeBron's still out right now. How far can he take this Lakers team?
Right now, I would tell you the conference finals. I believe in LeBron James. I know that he's not what he used to be, but I think that's just a health situation. When LeBron James is on the court and healthy, clearly in a position where he's willing to preserve himself for the postseason now, more so than ever before, I think it's one of those situations where his basketball IQ, his ability to make and finish plays, his strength, his size, his girth, his basketball know-how, plus a perimeter shot that's not awful, it's decent. I think the combination of all of those things with Anthony Davis and the rest of the crew, with Carmelo playing the way that he's been playing thus far, even though I don't think that'll last, I still believe in Carmelo Anthony. In the end, I think it's going to take a sniper-like squad, like the Golden State Warriors, to take out the Los Angeles Lakers.
JJ, can I ask you a question? And Keyshawn, we'll get to you because I know you're going to be very defensive, all things LA in a moment. So, JJ, is it fair to say that father time is catching up to LeBron James?
To me, it's the first time in my life, and I've known LeBron since he was 15 years old, where LeBron looks human. He looks human. He had a core injury a couple seasons ago. Last season, he had an ankle injury. He comes out and says, I don't know if I'll ever be 100% again after that. Then another core injury to start. The way he started this season honestly reminds me a little bit of like 2018 with the Cavs, where he kind of cruised through the regular season in order to sort of save himself for the playoffs. If we look at this Lakers roster, though, it's a clunky fit. It's a clunky fit with their big three. They need more shooting on the floor. Who knows if Melo's hot shooting is sustainable at this point? They definitely need at least two other great shooters.
Do you think bringing in Westbrook was the right move?
They gave up a lot for Westbrook, but some of that was fit. I don't think Kyle Kuzma was a great fit there. I don't think Montrezl Harrell was a great fit there. Those guys are playing great in Washington. They gave up a lot. What they didn't get back was any shooting, and that's what they need. They need more shooting.
Well, the one thing I would say before Keyshawn chimes in here is that is a reflection on Frank Vogel, who I like personally. But I will tell you this: you don't use Montrezl Harrell at all during the playoff series against the Phoenix Suns. You don't use him at all. Kyle Kuzma didn't necessarily develop under you. You know what? Looking at them and the way they're playing in Washington right now, in the nation's capital, if they keep this up and the Lakers continue to struggle, which I don't think will happen, the Lakers side anyway, you're going to be looking at Frank Vogel and being like, what the hell's going on here?
6-5 ain't a struggle, I don't think, when you don't have LeBron James 10 games into the 11 games into the season, right? I know we talked about Westbrook. Yes, that is a problem in terms of shooting. But can Westbrook start the game, give him 7 minutes, come and be the second unit guy that does what he did a couple games ago, which is score at a high volume? I mean, we're not asking Carmelo Anthony to score 29 points a night. So if he can give us half of that, I think we would take that and be happy with it.
Oh, he'll
right?
give you half of that.
If you can get half of that, you can get half of that. I think you take that and you run to the hills with it. LeBron James, father time may be catching up slowly, but it's got a long ways to go, JJ.
I'm never going to discredit or
I didn't say he was discrediting
LeBron.
He said human.
But he looks human.
Yeah.
He looks human.
Yeah, in the early stages. What about late in the year, second half of the season, all-star? If we was having this conversation and you said to me, he looks human, when they're getting ready to go into the into the playoffs, now I'm a little more worried. The biggest problem for me is, can we keep AD healthy?
I've told y'all.
Can we keep AD healthy?
I've told y'all all year long. I said, look.
10 games in, by the way.
Well, I'm just talking about preseason once the minute the mental trade was made. I've said it. It's going to come down to Russell Westbrook.
Yes.
I know that with Anthony Davis, you're looking at health.
Health.
With LeBron, you're looking at health. With Russell Westbrook, you're looking at how you play. Last night, had a triple-double. 5 turnovers in the fourth quarter. 5. And some of them were pivotal ones. You're going to look at him, and if you're the opposition, you're going to challenge him to make the right play at key pivotal moments. Now, with LeBron there, that's the ultimate cover, because we all know how LeBron usually is going to make the right plays. But the bottom line is that you're going to look at them and you're going to find a way to put Russell Westbrook in a position where he's the one that has to come through for you in a pivotal moment. And the question is, can he do that in terms of his decision-making and his shot-making ability?
Well, I would think in the fourth quarter he would defer, obviously, to LeBron, especially like bringing the ball up the court, spacing it out. Because as you said, LeBron is not a deadly shooter, but he does shoot the ball pretty well now. So that's your guy. In terms of Westbrook doing what he's doing, Stephen A. and JJ, he's a second unit guy for me. Giving LeBron rest, he comes in there and he gives us that increase in scoring.
Sure, he loves being called a second union guy.
Hey,
okay,
hey.
so JJ says LeBron looks human for the first time. The fit's a little clunky. You're a little concerned about Westbrook. You're a little concerned about AD's health. I will ask you, Mr. Laker, if you were a betting man, how far is your squad going?
Probably to the championship.
Yeah, probably.
I know they're going to be there.
I forgot
in the
who I
Western
was asking.
Conference,
Yeah.
And I'm believing in LeBron and AD to stay healthy to get us over the hump.
What I would say is it should be who JJ mentioned. It should be Utah.
Okay.
I don't have faith in anyone in Utah outside of Donovan Mitchell. Somehow, some way, they just let me down. Engel and Gobert and those. They just let me down. Okay, they just let me down. And I'm just a believer in the Golden State Warriors. I'm just talking about that. I just think that when you can shoot that well,
All right.
you can take out anybody.
Yeah, 3 is always better
I like the
than
dub
2.
too. We got to go to break.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.